Hello everybody and welcome to the live Warhammer Day preview online. My name's Lewis and I'm joined by Eddie, and today we've got some super exciting news for you today. But first, before we get into that, Eddie, what is Warhammer Day?
Where? What? Where's that mole? I didn't see one.
Hey guys, my name is Bando, this is Breakfast Bando, and obviously yesterday we had the Warhammer preview online, Warhammer Day 2023, and all that jazz. I watched the stream with a bunch of guys from the Outer Circle, which was a very weird, surreal experience, as we all sat in Discord and went on Twitch, and for some reason we were recommended a stream where a young lady painted herself while standing in the shower wearing very little clothing. And we watched some of the worst members of humanity throw large amounts of money at this girl. And then some of us may have invaded her chat and basically started posting how she was using the wrong sort of paint. She needed to use two thin coats, and highly recommended Pro Acryl's titanium white to her rather than whatever she was using. But then the stream actually started and we started watching the reveals with everybody else. So I'm just going to go over kind of what my thoughts were, and I'll be honest that it was a very mixed bag. So yeah, let's start with 40k. Mechanicus and Necrons, obviously two of the upcoming codexes, and for the Mechanicus we're getting the Skitari Skratos, a supreme sneaky sniper on stilted legs, while the dynastic Necrons bow deeply as Imhotep the Stormlord reveals his living metal panoply. I think that both of these models are actually really weak. The sniper, the Skitari, is an interesting idea. The idea of this, long-legged sniper that sort of strides the battlefield, and, he can extend his go-go gadget legs up and out so he can change where he's, looking at the enemy from, is a cool concept. I like that idea. The problem here is just how it's been done via Games Workshop. It's been badly pulled off as a model. Like, sculpting wise, bits of this model are fine. Like, I like the head and the helmet with like the welder's mask almost look, but with all the optics and stuff. That's really cool. The rifle with the really long sling. He's not going to be able to put the rifle down on the ground, is he? So of course he's got a sling. That's really cool. The problem is that his legs are silly. Everyone's made the same jokes about him looking like, a Stork or like Inspector Gadget. If he'd had his... he's got reverse digitigrade legs by the look of it, which is fine. If he'd had these reverse legs, and by the way, Weiss's still got what appear to be organic upper legs, his quads would not be able to support the weight of those legs. So he should have had almost like a completely removed lower body. Think like the Dread Knight. He should have been like a torso and arms on like a baby carrier with longer spindly legs. If he'd had his legs at a spread angle, like he was bracing himself, and actually this is a model you'd wanted a tactical rock for, because you want him to show that he's actually he's wide stanced, and then aiming his rifle, it would have been a considerably better pose in my opinion. This is a good model for like an alternate pose, like a limited edition. We've done a second one. This is our pre-order bonus one. You can only get this for a week while the book's up for pre-order. That sort of thing would be fine. But as is, it's a real miss from me. Pun intended. It's an interesting idea. I would never buy this model. I may kit bash this model, but as is, this model would never stay in that configuration for me, because it just looks dumb. Imitate the Stormlord is just too generic and boring for what is supposed to be a very important character for the Necrons. A lot of people who like Necrons are complaining that he's lost his angry eyes. I can see that. You know, I can respect that opinion and that gripe. But a lot of people are saying he's looked smaller, and again, I agree. He really should have been, you know, a Swolcron, just massive. He's big, but like he should have been chunky and a bit more regal, a bit more detailed. He's just like, as a generic Lord, like Necron Lord, this is a great model, basically. As Imitate the Stormlord, I don't think it's a particularly great model. Aegis Sigmar. So Aegis Sigmar, we got some really weird models. I like this dragon. Like, I like dragons. Dragons are cool. Dragons are cool as shit. And you know, a Stormcast Eternal riding a dragon is absolutely fine with me. My issue here is that I really dislike that Stormcast are just fantasy space marines. So we've got a chaplain on a dragon, effectively. I don't like that character. I don't like that as a style for them. I think it's such a boring, safe army, basically. Stormcast are really boring because of the fact that they are fantasy space marines, and that's exactly what they were designed to be. So I can respect that they, you know, they needed something that was big and chunky for new players, and they want cool stuff, and obviously that Space Marines have got that really cool aesthetic to them. You know, the skull-faced chaplain, he's the religious leader and all that, and the guardian of the lost souls, and etc, etc, etc. That you're just making Space Marines, like, it's so boring. The dragon's quite cool. Looks like this is on probably a 90mm base, so it's going to be a lot smaller than I thought it would be. So yeah, I mean, it's good, but I really want some Warhammer Fantasy Battle style dragons with the long thin faces and the long necks, and I need them big. I need these things on big bases. I need them to be impractical, but I need them to be plastic kits. Yeah. Okay, so it's basically the same character. They've released the same character 3 times now for Age of Sigmar. I guess they've got a name, and they really like that name, and they just want him to do everything. That's a bit boring. Then we have Belthanos. Belthanos, First Thorn of Kurnoth. Man, they've probably got some weird AI generated thing doing their name nowadays. They must do. This is a really weird one as well. Someone on the stream said that they felt that this looks like it wasn't designed to have this guy sat on it, and then someone else said yes, it does look like it was originally CAD sculpted to have a saddle, basically, and I kind of can see where they're coming from. It does look a bit weird. Like, I like the idea of a tree man riding a giant bug, but the way I would have done it is I would have kind of gone for more of the old tree, made it look like an old man, and done the whole like cordyceps thing with the sort of the fungus growing out of the bug. The bug is obviously, you know, now part of the tree as much as the tree is part of the bug. You know, it's a symbiotic relationship, and you know, it's growing out of him effectively. That's what I would have done personally, is this sort of this model, this idea. Yeah, so just a treeman riding a giant bug. It's okay. I don't mind it. I quite like the treemen models. Nothing will ever beat the old classic Warhammer Fantasy Metal Tree Man with the beard for me. Mainly because it weighed about 3.5 pounds and could be used as a self-defense weapon, much like the Dreadnought. But I'm finding a lot of Age of Sigmar's Wood Elf faction does not have the same appeal to me as Warhammer Fantasy's Wood Elves did. I was always a big fan of like the War Dancers and the Way Watchers and stuff. So yeah, they're good models, but and it goes well with the Ever Queen on her giant bug, but it's not as good as her on the giant bug. Again, I really like these Gorgers. I think the Gorgers are gorgeous. We did have a good laugh about how you managed to take, Dwarf Slayers, the most popular aspect, or one of the most popular aspects of the Dwarf faction, and make an entire faction of it that no one plays. So yeah, don't know what's going on there.
Nice to mole you. Meet you. Nice to meet you, mole. Don't say mole.
Stop.
I said mole.
Stop.
Kill Team Salvation. This one was a bit interesting. This was definitely the one that the most people were hyped up for. And it was probably the one people were the most disappointed with. I love Striking Scorpions. I had Striking Scorpions as a kid. They were one of my earlier model kits. I can't remember what the sort of... It probably was called Striking Scorpion Green, actually, but the green paint I had to paint these with, I loved. I thought it was such a great colour. I'm 90% sure it's Striking Scorpion Green now. And these are a fantastic, faithful update to the Striking Scorpions. I don't like the bare heads. That's the only part I don't like. Other than that, I like these. These are really good, and the fact they come in a box of 10, I really like that as well. Lots of tactical rocks. Again, I generally don't have a problem with that. As we discussed on the stream, I don't have a problem with the tactical rock. I understand that you can only have so many poses with both feet flat on the ground, and as you can see here, just upping one leg does let you change the dynamic look of a model. They're obviously legs and torsos put together in one piece, and there is 5 of them duplicated, so 2 sprues of 5 by the look of it. What I can't see here is any sort of visible options for the kill team that makes each man unique or gives them a different role or purpose. So there's no guy with a flamer or radio pack or whatever, which is, if you're playing kill team, can I stop right clicking? Yeah, so that's, I don't know, these are definitely a purchase for me. I like Striking Scorpions. They are joint first for my favourite aspect, Temple, and I am 100% looking forward to seeing what happens with the Warp Spiders and the Swooping Hawks. So these are a win. I like these. These are a solid, 10 out of 10 basically. They're a 10 out of 10 till I can see the sprues basically. Yeah. The only thing I would have liked is maybe some more poses, some more running poses or something like that. Not a big deal. The Scouts. These were the ones people were disappointed with, I think. They didn't seem to like the options they had. This guy's arm with the shoulder pad being so far off the arm seemed to trigger a lot of people. The fact they were painted as Raven Guard for some reason seemed to trigger people. The skin tone of the Raven Guard seemed to trigger people. They are very, they don't have very pale skin, not including non-white skin tones, but they seem to have quite nice tans for Raven Guard. I don't mind them. I think they're quite good. I love the posing on this guy. I don't like the grapple pistol he's got, but that's really cool. If only that leg was further up so he was actually running, it would look really, really cool. These heads are good. Hopefully they're just standard ball socket so they can be used on other things, because they'll work really well for my Salamander Scouts. More shotguns is good. the fact they seem to be armed with just like bolt guns rather than anything weird and wonderful means that they won't be too hard to swap out to like Heresy. The only downside is we don't get to see the back of them, and that's all I want to check is the back of these models, so I can see if they have that horrible Primaris circle power pack, which I'm 99.9 recurring % sure they do. But that's just going to be the only part I need to cover up to use them as Heresy Recon Marines in Carapace armor. Here's the bit that I don't like. This is all the terrain that comes with them. They've decided to separate out the terrain, which is a good looking terrain set. We all seem to like the idea of it being a fight on a oil rig. That seemed to be a really cool idea, and yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. But that was kind of always the appeal of the big kill team boxes, was the fact you got a load of terrain, you got a load of models, you got the rules. It was all a heavily discounted box. And they're not doing that. They're doing just the models together and then the terrain separate. Obviously, that's just cost cutting, and it kind of sucks.
Oh.
On to probably the most divisive finish, which should have been the best finish, because it's the old world and we're all looking forward to it. Bretonnians. The biggest complaint across this entire range, and I will echo it as well because I hold the same feeling, this is all CAD sculpted and it hurts the models. A lot of the details are too chunky. There's a lot of details, like a lot of these feathers are completely blank. They have no sculpted detail in them, which is silly because that should be something that's very easy to do for a CAD sculptor. A lot of the cloth is incredibly sharp with flat ends. Also, not incredibly sharp, it's incredibly thick with flat ends. A lot of these details are extra and stuck on. The way that, I can't really think, it might have been DCP described it, was a lot of these models feel like they were done by junior sculptors who saw blank space and was terrified. So they just had to fill the blank space. And these foot knights were 100% the worst culprits. I don't think anyone liked these foot knights when we were watching this. A recurring comment was they all look like they appear to be more at home in the Cities of Sigmar range than they were in a Bretonnian range, especially when you compared them to the older models that are being re-released. Like, everyone liked these. Everyone likes the style, everyone likes the level of detail on these. It's not mirrored here. Yes, we can appreciate that these are newer sculpts with better technological advancement, with a lot more detail, but the detail does not match the aesthetics of the existing model range, and this is what people wanted. For me personally, it's things like these details here, the fleur-de-lis on his coat. If you look closely, which you probably can't see, there are bolts here, so this is clearly supposed to be some sort of metal bolted onto the cloak. Well, that's silly. The helmets are just so over the top, and the styling on some of them is so wrong. If they all had the same kind of, I think they call it a basket helmet that Bretonnians have, it would be better. This guy's surcoat is worn by a musician, but it doesn't have a belt around it, so it's going to be flapping all over the place. These are worn like nowadays for ceremonial use. They're not useful for battle because they will be flapping all over the place. They'll be getting all out of the place. They should be tied back with a sword belt. Having these really over the top helmet decorations is a bit dumb. Fair few people didn't like the fact that they had what appears to be a lady knight, when they don't appear to be lady knights apart from Repance de Lyonesse in Bretonnian culture. The fact that Rapance was a lady who picked up all the stuff and completed the errant quests, was supposed to be a big deal. You know, she was blessed by the lady to do so. So again, modern day sensibilities are kind of changing things, and I know some people are going to get really angry at that, and you know, fine, get over yourself. No one really cares about that. It's not going to be hard to just ignore that helmet, but still, there's a reason that this didn't happen in real life as well. You know, 60 pounds of armour, have fun walking around in that when that's like 90% of your body weight. Like, the posing is good, the swords up and stabbing and stuff, but a lot of the detailing, and it's just a bit too far. If you look at the resin characters, these are great. The detailing is right, the helmets look good. This guy's got a lot of detail, but it all fits and it works. This guy looks fantastic. The two damsel models we've seen are phenomenal. We loved this. Everyone was saying how great this was. And this cloak, the amount of people that were just like, this cloak is brilliant. The amount of space I'm going to have for freehand. This is a canvas to show off my ability to paint. Her clothing fits. She is dressed like a sort of 1200s French noblewoman would be dressed. She's got details on the belt, which is where the details would be. She's got details on her jewellery where the details would be. She's got interesting hair. She has a beautiful face. Well done. Games Workshop's actually sculpted a woman that doesn't look like she should have a 5 o'clock shadow. So all of those things, when they do them well, should be praised. The cloth is not too thick, even though this is a resin model. Brilliant. You know, this is a great model. Downside is the price. We know this is going to be an expensive model. Same with all of these. I don't particularly want to spend £45-50 on this model. Again, also, I would not say, I think this is possibly one of the best painted models Games Workshop has released as a box art model in decades. This pink and white unicorn ladygirl thing is one of the best Warhammer models I've ever seen painted from Games Workshop. Okay? It's great, and everyone who was criticising it and calling it silly names just because of what it is, you're dumb as shit. That's phenomenal. That takes a lot of skill to do that really well. These three guys, I love these. This is like if the Foot Knights looked like this guy with the standard bearer, with this style of clothing, and this style of like level of detail and gumph and just stuff, I'd have no complaints. None whatsoever. About that unit, by the way. The Return of the Trebuchet, okay, love it, but it's coming out as Forge World resin. Okay, that's good because it's going to preserve a lot of the detail from the original sculpts. My only concern here is the price. The last thing, these two units, the old Men-at-Arms units, love them. They were great kits. Really looking forward to getting my hands on this kit again. These two kits between them have some of the most characterful bits that Games Workshop has ever sold. There is guys with crazy moustaches. There is this fat, like, monk guy. There he is. Yeah, the fat monk guy. There are like weird little wonderful bits. Like there's toads on the end of the drumsticks. There's giant Dr. Robotnik moustache. There is people with missing teeth. There is things on strings that you can stick to their waists. You've got all these cool bill hooks. These are great kits. And I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on it again, because I really like it. I really like this kit. The Knights kit. This is actually a double Knights kit as far as I remember. You can do them as Knights Errant or Knights of the Realm. Yes, there you go. Kit can also be built as the Impetuous Knights Errant. Has some fantastic bear heads. A lot of people use these for like Dark Angels, Howling Griffins, Black Templars, anything knightly. They used a lot of these for these bear heads back in the day. Also the same with some of the swords. They really liked some of the swords back in the day for Space Marines. I remember this banner being incredibly bendy as well, so hopefully they've improved that a little bit. But they're good models. If I remember correctly, it was... Can't remember if the legs were one piece or if it was two pieces for the legs, then it was the torso, the arms. They had like some shoulder armour for some of them, and then obviously shield, and the horses were left side, right side, head and tail. So good number of pieces. Looking forward to that. Never built the Pegasus Knights. I hear that they're a pain. I remember people complaining about painting them. So if these guys had the same style, I'd have less problem with them. I don't like these. The other problem was that if you look at them during the video, I'm not going to play the music, and hopefully we get to it quickly. Stop right clicking. I've got some heavy fingers. Yeah, it looks too much like the Empire. Plus the armour. The reason the Bretonnian range did so well was because a lot of it was very historically accurate, and I think a lot of that was down to the Perry twins being involved. Yeah, the Perry twins always kept Games Workshop on the straight and narrow for historical accuracy a lot of the time. Yeah, why are they all wearing moustaches? Like, that's not really anything that they've had, was everyone wearing moustaches. Yeah, it's definitely a girl. They're great. Love the archers. Love the men-at-arms. Absolutely fine with those. Love the old knights. God damn it. Pegasus Knights aren't bad. New Pegasus Lord is pretty good. Quite happy with that. So obviously this is kind of what we're going to be getting in the new box set as well. So I expect to see something like this for Tomb Kings in the next couple of weeks. There we go. Look at the size difference. Those guys are almost a full head taller than the men-at-arms. These guys are the size of like Primaris Marines. They're massive. Like, what the actual shit? Look at it. I mean, they are huge. Yeah, they're like a base and a half in front of these guys, but even that, look at him. This is Space Marine to human scale differences. It's like these have been printed at the wrong scale. If I was to print these out on my, on my printer, and then come back, I'd look at them next to it and go, oh bugger, and then I'd go back, resize, drop by 25%, and print them again. Nuts, absolutely nuts. I won't be collecting these. If these come in the box set, I will probably be either stripping them for parts and using them in the Howling Griffins, or just straight up selling them off and using them to get more of this stuff. If I want Foot Knights, I will be using... I'm probably going to Claymore Castings. Claymore Castings is, if I remember correctly, they are based in the UK. They make some classic, like 100 Years War French cavalry, foot soldiers, foot knights, that sort of thing. And they're wonderfully well sculpted. They do some brilliant crossbowmen who are like hiding behind their purvase. Classic metal models, really nice, really love them. Not too expensive, usually comes in like packs of 5. So yeah, I will probably be going to Claymore Castings for that if I decide to do this, or I may just convert them. I may just, use the Knights of the Realm. I'm sure there's going to be enough of them floating around. The bits I'm looking forward to are the transfers as well. Yeah, new decals are always good. Always looking forward to new decals. So yeah, what did you guys think? What did you think of the reveal show? I felt like always that the guys doing it were a bit lackluster. They were draining. It took forever to start as well. If you're going to do a stream and say you're going to start at a specific time, start at a specific time. Don't leave people hanging. You know, make a post about why things are taking longer. I don't know, just make an effort. Again, it just there's no charisma in them at all. There is nothing. There is just marketing gumph. It doesn't feel genuine when they're talking, which is kind of sad, because these guys should be passionate, they should be knowledgeable, and you should be able to tell that these guys live, breathe, and love Warhammer. And it doesn't. It just feels like these guys are there to collect a paycheck, and you know, that's it. So it's a bit sad, in my opinion. This is the guy that's monotonously droning on YouTube, making videos about Warhammer. I get the irony, I really do. So yeah, that's all I've got to say on this. Some of these models are good, some of these models are bad. You know, it was what it was. We knew that it was going to be Warcom. You know, I don't think anyone was expecting anything different than what we got, really. I'll be honest, 40 years of Warhammer, it was a bit of a letdown. I would have really liked to have seen something like a re-release of a really classic kit. I would have liked to have seen something like the special model be Harry the Hammer off the cover of the original Warhammer. I would have liked to have seen maybe a re-release of RTBO 1. There was a load of stuff, I'm not going to go find it, but it was like mugs and t-shirts and stuff that was so expensive and just so dumb, and everyone was criticising them. You know, put some effort in. I hope you guys managed to secure your box set if you were after it. If not, I hope you've managed to get some Mark III Marines if you're after those, or a Dreadnought if you're after those. Hopefully, I have just got the confirmation email to say my order is there. Whether or not it has been actually allocated and I don't get a email in a week's time going, sorry, we haven't got enough to fill your order, but I should be getting hopefully 2 of these from Element Games. So yeah, that was good. Yeah, so just pop down in the comments, guys. Let me know what you think. Did you like the Super Stilts guy? Do you think I'm wrong about Imatech? Do you like the dragon? What do you think of the guy on the back of a beetle? Are you excited for new Scouts or Scorpions? How do you feel about the old world? I think it was best described to me as Warhammer the CAD world. So yeah, it's chunky, it's computer designed, it's Warhammer. Guys, as always, I really appreciate any of you that stick around and watch these videos. I really appreciate everyone who drops a comment. And those of you who come along to my live streams, you won't believe the update that's coming for you next week. And it will probably blow you away when you see it. But it is real. My name is Bando. This is Brexit Bando. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Mole.
Oh, shut up!
Molly, 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 Molly.